What's up, YouTube? Charles Baconis, aka CP here. I am doing a review on retail arbitrage today. I have just experienced my first A to Z process of retail arbitrage, and I wanted to share my experience with you guys and hope this will help you in your journey with Amazon, whether you're looking to do retail arbitrage or do Amazon FBA. Or maybe sell a product you've designed personally on Amazon. So just want to get right into that. So a couple weeks ago, went out to Big Lots to look for some Halloween decorations. We are in that season, so I love to get the house going early. And came around a corner, saw a end cap of clearance shoes, summer shoes, I should say, or clogs or whatever they are. And there was probably maybe over 120 of them. And they were discounting them pretty significantly. I think it was down to 60 cents or 80 cents, depending on the size that you purchased. So I took a picture of it with our Amazon app that we use to look up products on Amazon when you're out at a retail store. And I did see that there were sellers selling these on there. And it looks like to me that they were almost out of inventory, or maybe they only had 1 or 2 units left. So I decided to buy up everything that was left at that particular location. I called 2 other locations locally to see if they had any left in stock, and they did. And I think all in all together, I collected over 150 units, put them all in a box, and brought them all home. Once I got home, I took them all out of the box. I separated them all into sizes and went upstairs to my office, and at that point started to build the listing to be able to sell these on Amazon. So once you do that, you want to look into packaging requirements. There may be some specific guidelines you need to follow on how you package an item that you plan on shipping into Amazon to sell or resell or arbitrage, whatever you want to call it. So make sure you look that up. That is available on Amazon Seller Central's website, packaging requirements, and make sure you're following those guidelines so they don't charge you any extra fees that they could potentially charge you if you don't follow those instructions very carefully. So I did the research on that. I had to go out and order some poly bags. I had to order some suffocation notification stickers. So I waited for those to come in and took a couple days. And then once that happened, then I continued on with the listing. So the listing's very easy to create. I don't know who you may be following on YouTube, or if there's a course you've purchased, or however you're getting your information about how to sell on Amazon. But there are some things you're going to find out that not every course or every guru out there will teach you. And either because they don't know it because they haven't done it, or sometimes Amazon process can be a little bit different depending on who you talk to at customer service if you call in for help. So there's some learning there that you will have to go through. And so once you establish your listing, you're going to go ahead and make sure you print out all of the proper SKUs for all of your products, and you need to label every single item that you plan on selling into or sending into Amazon. If the existing item has a UPC or barcode on it already, you need to take your newly created UPC barcode from Amazon and you need to put it over the old one. The reason for that is Amazon has its own system of how they track things, and so it needs to be specific to Amazon, not the old product manufacturer or brand of the original product, because they have their own UPC. So you want to make sure you cover every single UPC on every single item, and then you start packaging everything up. Once you package everything up, you want to go back into your office or go back onto your computer or laptop, and you want to start a shipping plan. The reason why you want to start a shipping plan right away is because with Amazon, especially with pretty much with anything, but arbitrage, from what I have found out, if you have a decent amount of items that you're sending into Amazon, they may want those items to go to certain locations. So you don't want to throw them all in one box and assume that they're all going to go to the same location. As I have found out, and just doing this myself for the first time, my particular product was split up into 3 different shipments. So they wanted it to go to 3 different locations in the United States. One was on the West Coast, one was in the Midwest, and the other was on the East Coast. So you want to make sure that before you start boxing everything up, see if they're going to be splitting up your shipment to other locations. Then you want to go package everything up, get everything sealed, and start boxing everything. Once you box everything, then you want to go ahead and measure your box, because the shipping plan is going to require that you give them the exact dimensions so they can give you the cost, and then you also need to weigh the box. So I had to buy a little mini scale. I bought that for $15 on Amazon. It was one of the highest recommended ones, very inexpensive. So after all this is done, then you need to seal your box up. You need to put the packing label on the box properly, and then you can take it to your local UPS store in your neighborhood, drop it off, and they do everything from there. So that is, in a nutshell, my experience with Amazon reselling, or Amazon arbitrage, or retail arbitrage, whatever you want to call it. People call it different things. Basically, it's reselling. You're reselling existing products that you find on clearance out at a store, and you are finding out what you could potentially sell those items for on Amazon. If there is already an existing seller selling them, you can basically sell them as well. Or if not, you can create your own listing and still sell them as well. So in terms of sales, since I've launched it about 7-8 days ago, I have been getting 1 to 2 sales per day. Now this is with no PPC. This is strictly just putting them up on Amazon, shipping them in, going live. When you build a listing, you can add in keywords. So you can, I didn't search up anyone else's listing to find out what their keywords were. I strictly just did my own keyword research and entered in keywords on the products that I sent in, on the shoes, and I still have been getting 1 to 2 sales a day with no advertising whatsoever on my part. So simply a consumer has gone online, it seems like, they've searched out that need for that product, and they've been buying it. Now, is that a lot of money? No, it's not. It's definitely not a lot of money. Is this something I plan on making a full-time, project and doing this regularly? No, I don't. I am going to be solely focusing on FBA, branding my own products, and working with suppliers in China to send products to Amazon and do sales that way. Here's the reason why I think reselling is a nightmare, okay? And this is just my personal opinion. There's a lot of time you need to put into it. There's a lot of driving around. Once you get the product home, you're gonna spend who knows how long packaging everything up, depending on how many units you buy. You also need to make sure you get a decent amount of units when you're out looking at this clearance inventory at these stores and seeing what they have, because quite frankly, after the costs of you buying it at whatever deal you're going to get at that store, then you are going to need some specific packaging, maybe on some of them, maybe not. If it's already packaged up, you don't need to. But there's going to be a shipping cost into Amazon that they will charge you, so which is more inexpensive than if you were to do it another way, because they already have a deal with all the major shipping companies, which is great. So you get a little bit of a break there. However, there's just a lot of work that goes into it. It's not something that, in my opinion, is something that you could look at as doing passively. If you're somebody that enjoys going out to these retail stores and finding these items, and you're good at that, and you've been good at that, great. Then you are going to have an upper hand on somebody who has been maybe watching a video about people making good money doing arbitrage and not really knowing the full extent of the process. I found it to be, quite honestly, a little bit tiresome, somewhat annoying in some aspects of getting everything set up and sending it and having to drive it over to Amazon. I could have probably had UPS pick it up at my house, but I chose to drive it over and just drop it off because it's right down the street from my home. So I drove over there. But in terms of making this something that you could turn it into a full-time career, there would be a lot of work you need to do on a regular basis. You would need to be going out to these retail stores probably weekly, and then once you get there and find the item, you're going to want to see if other locations have more of those items, which sometimes you're not going to know that, because if they're clearancing something, they're not going to have an accurate inventory when you ask somebody at the store if other locations have any. Usually, from what I found, those numbers are off, and that was just simply from asking somebody at the store, going over to their computer system. I had a certain number of units in my hand. That wasn't matching what was in their system. It's because when it gets to clearance, it seems like things are a little bit different on their end and how they report units and numbers of inventory left over. So retail arbitrage is interesting to me. It's not something I'm going to be doing regular. If I'm at the store and I come across something and there's a good amount of product there, and I look it up in Amazon's app and find that, oh, this is selling for a decent amount and I can make a decent profit on it, then great. My profit margin on the product I sent in is $15 or $16 or $17, I believe, depending on the different prices I have set them at retail for what I bought. So that's not a bad profit margin, but again, doesn't really make you a lot of money if you don't have hundreds and hundreds of units. And I only sent in 170 some odd units. So I'm not really going to be making a ton of money on this. And once this runs out, it runs out. You can't reorder inventory on retail arbitrage. That's another thing about it. So you have to continually keep going out to stores, finding great deals on clearance items, making sure there's enough amount to make it worth your while. And so that is my pretty much opinion on retail arbitrage. If you guys like this video, please subscribe, like my YouTube channel, like my subscribe to my YouTube channel. I plan on bringing out a lot more content. And if you're a beginner like I have been over the last 6 months, I'm basically giving you guys this information coming from somebody who's just experienced this for the first time, giving you my honest opinion, and hopefully you can use this information as you move forward in your journey as well. So hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.